Arch Manning, booed at halftime. Another poor performance through the air for him. And Texas now needs to pick it up because SEC play is just around the corner. This is now turning into Arch Manning, not Heisman, obviously, but concern as far as the rest of this season goes, because it only gets tougher from here on out. They have Sam Houston this week, so they get one extra tune-up before things start getting real. What are we thinking here, man?
Yeah, I mean, this Texas defense has been real for years
Yeah.
now, and I think that they might have like used that as a more of a reliance than like was like previously thought. I like want to harp on like who he Arch Manning's throwing to first before I really get into like my thoughts on Arch Manning. I will say like relative to like other SEC schools and just other schools in general, I think you see like good like receiving cores at Miami and stuff like that. I think they like Texas might have just like put too much on like Arch Manning's name and not enough investment into this wide receiving core. Because I mean, Ryan Wingo is a good receiver, but like not a great receiver. And then you lose Matthew Golden and like just guys from last year, and then Christian Clark is your second leading receiver at this point. Like it. That receiving core isn't very good. So it's not like he's throwing the guy like the ball to like guys that are getting consistently open, but it at some point, like you have to evaluate him as a quarterback and like acknowledge the fact that he is missing some throws, especially in that first game. And then maybe not just especially in that first game, he didn't have he was less than 50% completion percentage against UTEP this past week, had a 26.5 QBR out of a scale of 100, and just in general looked like absolutely terrible. Got booed at halftime, as you mentioned, and it's more of a situation of like, can Texas turn things around? Obviously, they're 2-1, so not the worst thing in the world. But the 2 wins have come against teams that they should be blowing out, and that game against UTEP was relatively competitive for way too long. And it wasn't because the defense never really gave UTEP a chance, but still, like this question is about Arch Manning for specific reasons, and he has the 88th best QBR in all of college football, so not exactly where you want to see him. It's a potential Heisman favorite coming into the season, and in general, just hasn't looked like a good quarterback in general. Not even like relative to his name, but just as like if you blindfold anybody and give them the stats that he's had this season, you would say that that's not a good quarterback and probably not anywhere close to being drafted as a first round pick, much less first overall. So I mean, do I think that he has the talent to turn the season around, or not just the season, but like his possible draft stock around? Sure. But you want to see more than what he's been giving you, especially in these what have been tune-up games, because San Jose State and UTEP are teams that you want to be beating by 30 plus points. They did against San Jose State, but you want to see more convincing wins than that. And then they play in the SEC now, so it's not like you're getting Big 12 competition. You have Florida in your first game event, SEC at the Swamp, and then you play a ranked Oklahoma team. You play Vandy down the line. You play Georgia. You end the season with Texas A&M at home, but still a Texas A&M team that looks really good and has 2 really competent receivers on the other end of that field. So you really want to see Arch Manning start to turn up at the very least against Sam Houston State this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and Florida's playing hard. Like for Billy Napier, like if Lagway doesn't throw 5 picks, who knows how that LSU game would have been. Nussmeier had a really, really bad late pick in that game. They only lost by 10. I mean, shoot, that's like a moral victory at a certain point, right? We haven't talked about LSU Florida, so I wanted to get that in here. But yeah, Arch Manning, the expectation seems to have completely changed now, because this isn't just. I mean, they were at the highest of high. We were giving him a gold jacket before he was, starting week 1 for Texas, but now it's, can he be confident enough for this Texas team to make a run at the college football playoff? Because you're right, this Texas defense is elite. They're great. They were great against Ohio State, and they're keeping these games from turning into something that you would put in your top 10 upset list or whatever for the season. Like, they're keeping it from that because the quarterback play just isn't there. And he had 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half against UTEP, but the through the air stuff is getting really bad. We talked about it after the Ohio State game and a little bit too, I believe, after San Jose State. And there was speculation that he was injured, and everybody was coming out saying he's not. He's healthy. If he has to get shoulder surgery or something by the end of the year, that would explain a lot. But right now, if they're telling us that he's healthy, I see him wincing when he's throwing. I'm still going to have to grade by what they're telling us. And if he's healthy, this is really, really bad. Ryan, the people were comparing him to Ryan Leaf, which I thought was hilarious. But he also responded, and I wanted to mention this too because there's a little bit of perspective here. So Ryan Leaf led the nation in passing, first team All American, Sammy Baugh QB of the year, finished third in the Heisman, and played for a Natty in his final season. He had a pretty good season that year. So I think we also do need to recognize too his perspective in history, where if he doesn't live up to his name, that's fine. But we shouldn't also throw insults that aren't actually insults at him too. I think he could pick it up. He's got one more tune-up. It is what it is. I'm gonna probably die on this hill for Arch Manning. I think at a certain point. But if he's injured, come out and say that.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, like, relative to, like, what the expectations were, like, obviously, they were rocket high and whatever, but, man, like, if nothing has been like, if there hasn't been an injury, did he not look right last year too? Like at the opportunities he did get to play, I know that like he was kind of thrust into that Georgia game at some point as like supposed to be like the hero who kind of like takes over, but like like at the very end of that game, and he played in a couple of different games last year, but I don't know, like I've just like through what he showed us in college, like he played against the University of Louisiana Monroe last year and also had a sub or close to 50% completion percentage. Like there have been some games that he's been featured in for Quinn Ewers last year where he didn't look particularly great either. Like it was like always thrown into like a bad situation. He was like not expecting to be starting, all that good stuff. But I don't like. It is unfortunate that through like 4 or 5 plus games that he started in his career now, he just hasn't looked like the guy that you thought you were, the 5-star Manning quarterback that you thought you were going to get out of high school. And it's you just want to see more because he is the Manning and he does have that last name. But I don't think it's particularly over for him. And I think that as bad as he's looked through the first couple of games, there is a world where he ends up playing great during SEC play, and everyone forgets about these first couple weeks.
That's always a possibility. And I said that after the Ohio State game. I was like, we could potentially forget about it. It's getting a little bit tougher. And then will he make us forget? Will he be able to rise to the occasion? Now it's starting to look a little bit less likely. I really hope he's off social media too. Just wanted to say that before we get out of here. I really hope he's not looking at what's going on because he's getting the brunt of it. And, maybe rightfully so in a sense of just the sports fan stuff. But hopefully he's not paying attention to that.